can't sleep, my mind's been troubled by 1,000 petty things. It seems that all life's burdens are determined to discourage little dreams. We march to the beat of the drummer and cling to hope like a babe to her mother. Hush, don't cry, oh, we'll get by. We make our plans with the best of intentions, but the world don't revolve around our expectations. Surprise, surprise, when things turn out fine, Mommy and Daddy will shoulder the weight of the world, building a big bright future for our boys and girls. I used to walk all alone and lonely, thought I didn't stand a chance. Then came the day I met your mama and her little handsome man. I never thought life could be so perfect, but I still had a feeling something hadn't happened yet. Oh, I'd win that bet. Your mother and me twined our lives together, and it wasn't long before we saw that doctor turn and grin. Surprise, surprise, it's twins. Mommy and Daddy felt all the weight of the world, grow light as a feather with love for our boys and girls. Time flows through the hourglass as we try in vain just to make it last. And we have to learn to take life one day at a time, or watch it pass us by. Oh, how it flies. This is The Long Way Home. I woke up this morning from dreaming of the day when I made you my bride. Your hair framed your face on the pillow, and I felt a stirring inside. I know I'm lucky, but I don't know why. Fate smiled down on me when I caught your eye. I try to be worthy, but in the back of my mind, I can't believe you're mine. I took the long way home, but I found you, and I'm not letting go. There is more joy inside our small home, and more love here than I've ever known. Between your heart and mine, from time to time, I can't believe you're mine. Our little man's asleep on his giant blue bed, dreaming what little boys dream. I loved him when I met him, and I'll love him forever, it seems. When he calls me daddy, I try not to cry, but sometimes you'll notice a tear in my eye. I may not be worthy, but you know how I try, and I can't believe he. I look down and wonder at our boys and girls, big brother, baby sister, and twins. The best part of our true love story, a story I hope never ends. I dream of their future, I look up to the sky, I sing out a message with this lullaby. I may not be worthy, but I'll always try, and I can't believe they're mine. I took the long way home, but I found you, and I'm not letting go. There is more joy inside our small home, and more love here than I've ever known. Between your heart and mine, from time to time, I can't believe you're mine. For the rest of my life, till the end of all time, I am so thankful you're mine.
Welcome. My name is Joan Urban, and I'm the worship associate this morning, and part of the team that is working to live stream this service to you wherever you are. We are an inclusive community and congregation that welcomes you as you are, inclusive of all of your identities, complexities, and situations. We welcome your whole self, even if it isn't fully assembled, because we recognize that we are all a work in progress and that we are all in this together. If you will please join me in the opening affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship. For this high purposes do we unite in worship. And now we come to the time when we have our chalice lighting. These words were inspired by Amy Williams Clark. Although this is a time of uncertainty, it is full of unknowns and anxieties are knocking at our doors. It is also a time of loving kindness and compassion. As we light this chalice, its flame draws us together. Its flame cuts through the darkness of isolation, and we are warmed by the fires of our interconnection. For this moment, this radical moment, we find a certainty and a peace within the bonds of love and community.
Welcome. Welcome to this day, this hour, this space, and this body. Together, we will answer a call to love. Together, we will create a thing of beauty. Together, we will find the sacred in the spaces between, no matter how far apart. Together, we will worship. Welcome. And let's begin our worship together with hymn number 155, Circle Round. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for the soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. And now, kids, come on in a little closer. This one's for you. It's a silly story. I was trying to meditate. So I sat down, I folded my hands together, I took a deep breath, I kept breathing, and I tried to be very calm, very serene, very present in this moment. Because that's what meditation is supposed to be like, right? I'm supposed to be very calm, very serene. I'm supposed to be very present in this moment. But right away, my nose started to itch. I wondered, what would I have for dinner? And then I was trying to remember, what did I have for lunch? And then I stopped myself. That is not being present. Back to meditating. I started all over. I tried really hard, but it was not going very easy. My brain went everywhere else all at once. I was not in the moment. I was hearing the clock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, and I could hear something banging against the window. The dog was snoring. And everything going on around me was so much more interesting to my brain. I started over. I took a very deep breath, And then, ow, 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 ow. My leg cramped up and I jumped up and down and I was jumping around the room wildly because ow, 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 ow. The pain was really painful. And it was the only thing I could pay attention to. It was It was the only thing I could pay attention to. I think I even forgot to breathe for a little bit. But eventually, my muscles relaxed. I started breathing again. And just like that, I realized I had been fully present in the moment. It hadn't been a particularly pleasant or relaxing moment. It wasn't really calm or serene. While I was hopping around and yelling, I wasn't paying attention to the clock or whatever was banging or even the dog who had now stopped snoring. All I could do was pay attention to the ow in my leg. And sometimes that is how we are really reminded to be present. Sometimes it's something really uncomfortable, something really unpleasant that reminds us that this moment is all we have. So, I'm telling you this because I want you to know that things are a little strange right now. Some of us are a little uncomfortable. And you might want a lot of different little distractions, and that's okay. But when it's time for you to pay very close attention, your body and the whole universe will find a way to make it happen, okay? And when that moment comes, I want you to know, just try and remember to keep breathing, okay? Okay. And please remember, I think that you are an amazing person, and I love you very much. Thank you.
We have a new mission statement, and I would invite you to join me in saying these words together. Our spiritual community lives courage, nurtures wonder, inspires justice, includes all.
And now, let's take a moment to follow our breath into those places that we might have rushed over all week. With each breath, I invite you to go deeper and find that part of your own center that needs attention. Breathing in, breathing out. Here you are. I've been looking all over for you, that precious part of you. And like so many things that seemed lost, you were waiting patiently for me to calm down and discover you. And like so many things that seemed difficult to understand, you were so easy to grasp once I stilled all of my frantic grasping. Once I allowed the silt to settle in the mud puddle of my middle. And now that I am here with you, all else settles into the deep calm of our being. And now, together, we can finally breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. Blessed be.
Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to believe. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time that you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rent, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for peace, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
Thank you guys for that wonderful music. We've been getting reports that the feed that you're getting on your computer is jumpy and kind of choppy, and we are aware of that, and we are trying to correct that problem right now. So bear with us, please. And this morning, I have a reading for you. I received this poem from a friend who received it from one of her friends. It was written by Brother Richard Hendrick in Ireland a couple of weeks ago, and it speaks to our situation today. Yes, there is fear. Yes, there is isolation. Yes, there is panic buying. Yes, there is sickness. Yes, there is death. But they say that in Wuhan, after so many months, you can hear the birds again. They say that after just a few weeks of quiet, they say the sky is no longer thick with fumes, but blue and gray and clear. They say that in the streets of Assisi, People are singing to each other across the empty squares, keeping their windows open so that those who are alone may hear the sounds of family around them. They say that a hotel in the west of Ireland is offering free meals and delivery to the housebound. Today, a young woman I know is busy spreading flyers with her number through her neighborhood so that the elders may have someone to call on. Today, churches, mosques, and temples are preparing to welcome and shelter the homeless, the sick, the weary. All over the world, people are slowing down and reflecting. All over the world, people are looking at their neighbors in a new way. All over the world, people are waking up to a new reality, to how big we really are, to how little control we have, to what really matters, waking up to love. So we pray and we remember that, yes, there is fear, but there does not have to be hate. Yes, there is isolation, but there does not have to be loneliness. Yes, there is panic buying, but there does not have to be meanness. Yes, there is sickness, but there does not have to be disease of the soul. And yes, there is death, but there can always be a rebirth of love. Wake to the choices you make as to how to live now. Today, breathe, listen. Behind the factory noises of your panic, the birds are singing again. The sky is clearing. Spring is coming. And we are always encompassed by love. Open the windows of your soul, and though you may not be able to touch across the empty square, sing.
For those of you who are watching, I want you to know we are actually practicing social distancing here. We are 6 feet apart. We have the windows open and the doors open, so you may hear birds song, and we've got the fans going. We're trying to keep ourselves safe for one another and for you. These are days which are trying our hearts and trying in that old sense of the word, rendering out what is essential. These are days which insist that we get to the essential, remove the essential from the non-essential, sift away the chaff, reveal what is required to survive. Did you already have a template for how to do this? Were you already accustomed to just stripping away the excess, steadily looking within and without, undistracted? I mean, I wasn't. I do, but I must admit that 12 days ago, I was very easily distracted by the inessential and the shiny and the new and the frivolous. I got along pretty well that way. But now times are different. There is anxiety because we are having to interrupt our regularly scheduled consumerism and actually stop and consider what is essential. Many of us are not prepared for this work. Right now, our government is in this spasm of conflict, and this conflict is the struggle between trying to maintain our economy that is based upon consumerism or setting that aside for a while in order to focus on keeping our citizens healthy, and they have no model for how to do this, how to keep people healthy while continuing to make significant profits. And the current administration, in my opinion, is entirely beholden to an economy that is based upon usury, moral usury. So they can't really even fathom how there might be another model. And so they are conflicted. They're trying to figure out how to negotiate with a virus that doesn't care about profits. It's so hard to buy off nature. It's as if she doesn't understand the game. Many of us have responded by rushing out and buying up more things than we even really need, as if we could buy our way out of uncertainty. For some of us, this is because we don't have well-developed mechanisms of self-soothing. So a stockpile of toilet paper feels like safety, feels like comfort. Certainty? It's a hollow certainty, really. Just look at that roll of toilet paper. It's hollow. It's based upon an economic agreement that reduces everyone and everything to a dollar value. But you've already heard that sermon. Instead, this morning, I would like to help you find your hope. And I intend to point you towards optimism and love. But I also know that before there can be a bright morning, there is always a dark night. Much of what we're in the midst of right now feels like a dark night, filled with bumps, the unseen. And a dark night must be suffered through, one fearful moment after another. Yes, it's good to have humor and beauty to help us pass this time, but that is only a distraction if despair and fear are always right there, waiting. Like anything that you try to suppress or ignore, these feelings, they will show up and they will express themselves somehow at some time. So instead of trying to push them away, it's better to simply acknowledge the feelings of despair, that fear. It's better to acknowledge even the uncomfortable, unattractive feelings you might have. Even though it doesn't always feel like it. We're made for times such as this, and we do have ways of doing this well. These are the times when our ancestors turned to lamentation. Are you familiar with it? Lamentation? The petitioning of the gods, the naming the things that are not right, and articulating what is needed for things to be better. Lamentation. Admittedly, a lot of Unitarian Universalists in recent decades have just cast aside this very ancient practice, just sidestepping all of the formal process and just simply making a general complaint. That's kind of how we've done it. But or we have stayed very firmly on the side, as if being progressive meant that anything other than perpetual optimism was somehow a failure to harness our human potential. But an unending litany of optimism wears thin, and it is inadequate when we are facing crushing tragedies of life, real life that is filled with evil and sin and loss. Singing on the sunny side of the street is absurd if you have not first survived the dark night. And as religious liberals, we've tended to focus on our power rather than relent and acknowledge how frequently we are powerless. And that is a whole nother sermon. Let's get back to lamentation. For our ancestors, lamentation was always directed squarely at a god or gods. But I want you to know, an externalized divine is not necessary. Lamentation can be a process that looks inward and speaks to the spaces between us. Here's how it works. It has a very clear and regular formula to follow. It's not just simply lying down in the dirt and moaning for a little bit. There's a progress. First, there is a petition to get the attention of that which is being addressed. Next, there comes naming the concern. What might include a bit of wallowing around in the particulars of the matter. Then there's a shift, and the petitioner names what they actually have trust in. They must name where they hold faith, even in their time of suffering. This might trip some of us up. And then, because this really is the point, the speaker goes ahead and identifies a possible solution. It really gets explicit with the change they want to see. And then with the solution pointed out, then the speaker names their assurance that all of this has been heard. And finally, at the point of exhaustion, maybe there is a shift, an uplift toward praise. Praise of that which is sacred, praise of what is true, praise of what is yet possible in this world. Praise, when praise might even seem impossible. That's the progression. Address, complaint, trust, petition, assurance, and praise. Let's go see how this might work. Okay? Okay. We're going to start with the address. To what shall we address this? Spirit of love and life. To the sacred ground of all our being. To those who cannot hear our lament. Okay, that's the start. Now, what's the problem? What is not right at this moment? We are frightened. Loss is near and growing nearer. We are separated from one another. We are unable to offer the hug, the handshake, the pat on the back, the shoulder to cry upon. We're in a time of pandemic, and our leaders seem more intent on preserving power than on serving people. Hundreds of thousands of people here in Texas are in danger. The people who are incarcerated, who cannot protect themselves. The people in detention who are being denied release to safer conditions. People are dying alone in their hospital beds, separated from the ones who love them. Our healthcare workers are unable to get the necessary equipment to do their work safely. And our president is playing politics while people die. This is not right. This is shameful. All right? the specifics. Now, address, complaint, trust. In what do we trust? Why do we think that anything might improve? We trust that there are people of goodwill and courage in this world. We trust that there is something inherently sacred in this world. We wake up each day and lie down each night comforted in knowing how we are truly interconnected. Okay, there is trust. Now, what is this petition? What are we asking to change? Grant us the strength to be those people of goodwill and courage. Grant us the steady hands, the clear minds as we work together to slow the progress of this virus that now threatens us. Grant us the comfort in seeing over and over how this world is knitted together by our care for one another. Okay, the petition. Don't forget the assurance. We ask this knowing that in speaking aloud, we are reminding one another that we are the ones who cannot look away. We offer up this lamentation to the wideness of the world and the depths of our own hearts, knowing that our words are not offered in vain. And now I am to praise. Am I ready to praise? Am I really ready to let loose and give thanks? Yes, I offer up this lamentation, yet joyous for this body, for this moment. We lament and we are grateful for this chance to be reminded again, yet again, how we are connected, maybe 6 feet apart in sickness and in health. We are inextricably bound in a web of mutuality. And for this, we are grateful. Amen. And blessed be. As you can see, a real proper lamentation, well, it takes some work. But with practice, it gets easier. It can become a ritual, a verbal labyrinth of going in deeper and coming out changed. If you like, I can share the elements. You can experiment with creating your own lamentations. Will they work? Will they somehow affect a miraculous change in this world? I don't know. But I have seen that they seem to affect the speaker, who then affects the world. And for me, that is enough. That is enough. May it be so, and blessed be.
Usually at this time in our service, the congregation makes its financial offering, but we can't exactly pass the basket today. But if you are interested in making a contribution, please visit our website, uuamarillo.org. On the homepage in the upper right corner, you will find a big blue donate button. that will take you to a place where you can donate securely through PayPal. If you've made a financial pledge for this year, please keep up your pledge. It is the time that we extinguish the chalice. These words were inspired by Amy Zucker Morgenstern. We are one. Never has it been more true than now. Though we extinguish this flame, its spark remains within us, connecting us invisibly but palpably. We are one. And from every window, let's let our light shine. Oh, yes.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the heart, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to